This is the Gateway Packaging Podcast, brought to you by Tenso Strapping. This podcast shares what's happening inside our business, as well as the latest from the world of packaging solutions. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode. Just a quick intro from myself today in regards to the episode that we want to share with you. This is actually a recording from an interview we did with Ross Buchner, who is the General Manager of TransTank International, and they are based in Nathalia in Victoria, Australia. And this was a great interview that we had with Ross. It was the first one we ever did. And the topic that we were talking about was why every decision in business should be made with the customer in mind. So I think this is a really, really important topic, and we wanted to share it with our podcast listeners. So this is the interview with Ross. I hope you enjoy it. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. We are here to talk with Ross Buchner from TTI. If you've got any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. And if you are watching this on the replay, still feel free to drop any questions you like, even if it's not live, because we can still answer those for you. Today's topic, we are going to be discussing why every decision in business should start with the customer in mind. And we're both going to run through a few different examples of how we implement that in our own business. So, Ross, thanks for joining us. Bob, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ed. That was so long.
Thanks,
Perfect.
Anthony.
Ross, we might start with you, mate. If you could give us a little bit of an introduction and an overview of what you do at TransTank International.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. I appreciate the opportunity to join this discussion. I'm Ross Buchner, and I'm the General Manager here at TransTank International in Nathalia. We are rotational molders of poly tanks for liquid transport, and then we value add to them by fitting them out for all sorts of applications, firefighting and weed spraying. And yeah, I'm very passionate about this topic that we're going to speak about today. So look forward to the discussion.
Excellent. And now I'll get Bob to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about what we do here at Gateway.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. So I'm in business development here at Gateway Packaging. We specialise in customised solutions in the packaging industry, obviously focusing a lot around the strapping industry, load retention requirements that customers might have, and various other packaging related.
Lots of other products.
Yeah, lots of other products that we do here, as you would know.
So
part of the team.
Just to bring everybody up to speed as well, we work together obviously with TTI. What's some of the products we supply to TTI?
Yeah, some of the products we supply to TTI is their printed heat shrink plastic that they wrap all their tanks and products with, along with a few other ancillary products, padded mailers and tapes and boxes and bits and pieces like that for the smaller items.
Excellent. All right, let's jump straight into the topic for today, which is why every decision in business should start with the customer in mind. Let's, Ross, we'll throw to you, mate. What are your thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Anthony, because I don't think this has always been given the focus that it should have been given. And we live in an age now, I believe, where information is so free, and there's been this massive power shift from the seller to the buyer, really, and that the buyer is the customer. And as you know, our customers and as everyone watching would know, our customers just have so much ability now at their fingertips to share an experience that they get. So I just find in our business here, we can get so caught up in little improvements and process changes and things that we want to make internally. But if we write the big wording above all of that saying customer first, customer obsession, it kind of puts into perspective how we make those decisions. I don't know. Do you agree, Anthony?
Yeah, look, definitely. It's obviously the customer is vital for the business. If we don't have the customers, we don't have a business. So, as a business owner, a lot of the times we can often feel like, we're always making decisions, but sometimes it might be more based on, what we would like for the business, and, making sure that we keep the customer in mind when we're making those decisions. Is going to benefit us in the long run because we need those customers. We need that customer retention. So wholeheartedly agree there.
Yeah, we need to look at everything through the customer's eyes, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
So we might look at it and think that we're doing something really great and it might suit us, but if it's not actually beneficial to the customer, at the end of the day, you're wasting time, really.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
I find that's an easy thing to say, but it's a whole nother thing to actually do, to actually try and extract yourself from your own business and look at it from the outside in and say, what was every touch point like for that customer? It's something that not many businesses do, and I believe it's a real opportunity to set yourself apart from the crowd by just having that focus.
Yeah, and especially like with my background in marketing as well, that's such a big thing. I mean, you have a product or a service, and you can talk about it till the cows come home, but you have to be able to put yourself in the customer's shoes and ask those questions like, what is their problems? What are their pain points? How can what we do? How can that help them? And that's when marketing really shines. So yeah, agree.
Exactly. An interesting analogy we heard recently was in your value proposition. So in the pitch that you're giving to your customers, have you asked yourself the question, and we've had to ask ourselves this question, is what keeps our customer awake at night? So what are his pain points, as you said, and what are those things that he really lies there and worries about at night? Because what we do, what we offer, must answer those pain points, and that'll resonate. And that's really starting the whole business funnel with the customer at the top. That's good.
Yeah, perfect. Do you have a few examples for us, Ross, on the types of things you might have implemented with TTI, that run with that train of thought?
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll take this exact scenario. In many cases, we're selling through resellers. So we sat there and said, in the context of our business, what keeps our dealers awake at night? And it was the concern that they'd wake up tomorrow and perhaps not be relevant in their own community. So the world might have moved on without them, and they no longer are relevant. So our value proposition needs to enhance their reputation in their own community. It needs to enhance their relevance. And that really, I mean, starting with that value proposition, and we've delivered that on many occasions to the whole team here at TTI. I've got them all together and said, guys, we know you may not touch the customer directly, but do you understand what we as a company are going out into the market and pitching? This is our pitch. If we can't deliver it, we're not keeping the customer at the front of every decision we make. And on that note, you said about an example. I went to an Amazon day recently, Amazon.com, and it was just very interesting. If you look up their leadership principles, the number one, I think it's of 12 principles, number one is customer obsession. So, a lot of businesses will say, we've got to deliver X net profit and X revenue, but their number one principle is customer obsession, and number 12 or number 14 or however many they are is deliver results. So they believe if they can get number one right, number 12 will be just a result of that.
Yeah, exactly. Great point there about Amazon, because I think there's lots of things we could all learn from there as far as customer experience goes. Bob and I both got a few points here as well about the types of decisions and things that's been implemented here at Gateway that has that focus. Do you want to share a couple with us?
Yeah, so a couple that we've put in place is the live chat feature on our website. We find that a lot of people want answers right there and then when they jump on our website. Don't necessarily want to get on the phone and ask the question. It's just as easy to hit the button. You get an answer straight away. One of the teams is always on the live chat feature, waiting to answer it. So those sort of things, they work well. Another thing that we do, when we visit a customer, we try and ask them, what's important to them. What do they, as Ross was saying before, what do they find are their pain points? What can we do to help them out? And we keep regular contact with them. You've got to keep in touch with your clients. Obviously, we do visits. We visit the customer, keep in contact by the phone, and always just trying to make their life easier for them as much as we can. Take the pain out of packaging if we can.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. And even things down to one of the biggest things here at Gateway is the fact that any order placed before 2 p.m. Is guaranteed same day dispatch. And that wasn't a decision for the business that made things easier internally for Gateway, because you're then putting a deadline on things. But what that does do is for people who are ringing up and placing orders. Most people, generally these days, there's not a massive amount of lead time for people to place orders. It's on the day. They need it tomorrow. They need it yesterday. So that was a decision that then really benefits the customer, because they know if they can get their order in quick enough on a certain day, they'll have it even quicker, delivery-wise. So that's just a great example of making a business decision that's got the customer in mind first. So, do you have anything like that in place at TTI?
Yeah, that's good. We've done a similar thing, and on that note, it's interesting to look at a process internally like that dispatch cutoff and say, well, from the moment the customer sends us the order to the moment we dispatch it, in between there, in the customer's eyes, that's wasted time. They get no value for that time. They only get value for the product that's delivered. So we can get caught up in flowery processes and all these nice to haves internally, but we've got to remember in a lean mindset, that's waste in the customer's eyes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Totally agree. Even things like here at Gateway, obviously, Bob is our business development manager, but he also does a lot of work as far as going and visiting clients and keeping in touch and keeping that face-to-face time. On-site demonstrations as well, because at the end of the day, like, business is about people. Business is about the relationships which you build with people, and having that face-to-face contact. In today's world, where so much of it, so much of interaction is online, whether it's like what we're doing now, or it's just a simple, really quick automated ordering process, and you never really see the people in the business. You never get to meet them and that sort of thing. So having the ability and the processes in the business in order to keep that face-to-face time, keep building those relationships, I think it's really beneficial to the business.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a must-have.
As the business grows, it's a challenge to always ensure that maybe that customer contact time that you were able to maintain at a certain size, making sure that you can scale everything accordingly to maintain that, because the customer's only getting more important. As a business, when we're growing, we can very quickly lose focus of that. So I think that's something we've had to really understand and realise, that things change. Processes that may have worked when we were managing X amount of accounts don't work when you're doing twice as many.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a constantly changing environment, I suppose. It's that old adage of the things that got you to your first million in business aren't going to be the things that get you to the next million or the 5 million or whatever goals you have in the business. So constantly working on evolving and improving those processes is a big thing. So
no, I was just going to say, it's in business, we've got to stay positive. We've got to always have a smile on our dials internally. But sometimes we also need to take that negative customer feedback. And I don't think any business is exempt from some negative customer feedback. It's inevitable, but it's what you do with that information, I believe, that makes all the difference. I mean, it's so powerful to take negative feedback, make a change, do something better, and come out the end of it better as a company and stronger as a company. That, I think, that resonates so strongly with customers. So we did an exercise recently internally where we asked the reps on the road to give us a list of all the problems that they had encountered or that customers had told them over the last 3 months. And I must admit, at first I was pretty daunted. I never knew we had so many problems. First thought, perhaps it's just the sales reps using an opportunity to improve everything in the company they want to see improved. But when you actually drill into it, it's very, very interesting. And we've got to remember that those guys are the face of the company. And those of us back in the office perhaps need to listen and understand. And we worked through this whole list of problems, and as a result have come out a lot stronger. So I think that's a good example of something any business can do.
100%. Well, it's exactly what we're talking about. And whether it is positive or negative feedback, any feedback from your customer base is exactly the type of thing that you want to be acting on and using in order to grow the business.
Yes.
And as you were saying earlier, Ross, about the digital age and how people can get access to everything so quickly and easily these days, we've found that we need to be flexible. We need to be able to jump when the customer says jump, and you've got to be responsive. We've got a very good team here now. We've got a very able team. We can jump when we need to, and customised solutions. When customer comes to you, they've got a problem. They need they need it sorted out. We've got a good knowledge base here now that we can tap into and provide what the customer needs.
Yeah, that's so true. And does the whole team understand the cost of getting a new account on board? I think that's a critical point as well, isn't it? To retain a customer versus get a new one, it's much cheaper to retain an existing customer than to go out and find a new one. It may take 5 face-to-face calls before you see the first order from a new customer. So I think that it needs to resonate through the whole team, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%. Excellent. Look, we could probably go on for quite a bit longer, but we will look to wrap it up for today. Hope you enjoyed watching this, guys. If you have any questions, if you've got any questions for Ross, if you've got any questions for Bob, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. Always happy to answer those for you. And if you've got any suggestions or tips on the types of things that you've implemented in your business around this customer experience theme, then we'd love to hear about those as well. So, Ross, thanks for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good opportunity.
Thank you. Very good.
All right, guys, we'll be back at you soon, maybe with a fresh new topic. But once again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Gateway Packaging Podcast. If you'd like more information on today's episode, please head to our website, gatewaypackaging.com.au, and don't forget to follow us via our LinkedIn company page. Just search Gateway Packaging.